Hey, what's up, guys? Back with another video. This time I'm going to be talking about why I think Robert Whittaker is a Fight of the Year contender. Now, I know what you guys are gonna think, you're gonna think, oh, Fighter of the Year? Robert, didn't Kevin Holland KO Jacare and, you know, didn't he fight 5 times and didn't Davison start the year as like no one and now he's the champion of the flyweight division? It's like, yes. But like, think about Robert's situation. First off, all those guys are totally contenders too, and they should be in any conversation about this. But like, think about Robert's situation at the end of last year, right? Like, he was literally the most recent 185-pound champ, and he got knocked out badly in his return fight against the interim champ, who a lot of people kind of saw as the actual champ because Robert had been out for so long because of those 2 wars with Yoel that people don't seem to appreciate, but whatever. So imagine where he was mentally, like the MMA community's written him off. People are saying that the wars with Yoel like changed him forever. Like, they were basically viewing him the way they view Tyron Woodley now, right? And then the Darren Till fight is booked, and it seems like, everyone's writing him off. Like, people are already talking about Darren versus Izzy and what an interesting stylistic matchup that would be, as if Robert doesn't exist, as if Robert's lost one fight in middleweight besides his fight with Izzy. And even Darren in the build up to the fight, he was talking about how, like, Robert has on the ground, he probably has the edge, but when it comes to the feet, it's not even close. Like, that's what Darren said, right? It's not even close. Like, that's the quote. And then, like, Rob just completely outclassed him. Like, completely. The fight almost completely happened on the feet. The only reason it was ever on the ground is because Robert caught Darren with a nice right overhand that put him on his ass, and he wasn't able to get up for the rest of the round. So that's as far as the ground game of that fight went, and Darren got beaten by unanimous decision, and yeah, like, I think that's a big deal. And then after that, he's not given an immediate rematch, which is fair, but I don't think people gave him the respect they were due for that fight. And then the same thing happens all over again when they book him with Jared. People are talking about how powerful Jared is and how big he is, and Izzy's talking about how if Jared beats Robert, he's next and whatnot. And then Robert just completely destroyed him, right? Like, he almost finished him. Like, all the hype was behind Jared, and he got completely finished, destroyed even. And he just quietly did it. He didn't make a big deal out of it. He was very modest about it, and he decided, right? My wife's pregnant. It's been a long year. I'm gonna take the rest of the year off, right? Which is totally fine. And then Dana White disgustingly slanders him, remember? Twists his words around and says that he doesn't want to rematch Izzy, right? Which is so fucked up. Like, it's really insane that Dana did that to someone who was literally the most recent champion. Like, Dana's always saying people don't want to fight, but I thought that one was particularly disgusting. So he doesn't blow up over that. He just explains that he's not worried about the Izzy fight happening because he knows it's going to materialize, because he's just going to keep beating the people who they put in front of him, which I thought was a badass statement to end the year on, So in conclusion, Robert started the year as like the forgotten former champ who got destroyed by Izzy. Like, that's who he was in the eyes of most people. I liked him, and he was a little bit that in my eyes, But he ended the year as the #1 contender, undisputedly, and he removed 2 huge, massive hype trains from the title picture for the time being, which is it was a really big deal. Now, obviously, granted, he may only have 2 fights compared to, Kevin Holland, who's just been working all year, or Davison, who, he's had 4 fights. But both of those two fights had massive implications for the division. You know, Darren Till is a huge potential star, and if he got that belt, it would be a big deal. And Robert stopped that from happening, and he did the same to Jared. So and most people didn't think he'd do that either. You know, most people thought he'd get bested in both of those fights, and if he did, where would he be now? He'd really be where Woodley is now. Like, people would be talking about his retirement and whatnot, but now he's the #1 contender, and no one can deny that. So I think that he is a contender for Fight of the Year. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll put out more content. I appreciate your time. Drop a like if you'd like. No pun intended. And yeah, I'll catch you guys later.